You know that feeling when you walk into a room full of people, and suddenly your entire body turns into a cringe compilation? That, my friend, is called the art of being an introvert. Socializing is easy, but some people would rather face the executioner's axe. Carl Jung explained it by introducing his concepts of the shadow, where the mind keeps regurgitating what happened a long time ago, so you get more of what you don't want. Like that one time in 2008 when you mispronounced someone's name. And let's not even talk about the time you accidentally waved back at someone who wasn't waving at you. Deep down, you know it's just your brain clinging to the old narrative, replaying every awkward conversation from the past and projecting it into the current interactions. Well, what can you do? Your mind spent years crafting the perfect mental slideshow of every awkward interaction you've ever had. There is one Emily Grant who always felt intimidated by crowds. She expressed, "I was never the type of gal who went to big parties, and you know what? No regrets, nada. I would much rather be home watching anime, or reading a book about how the universe is expanding into an infinite void of nothingness. Call it nerdy, call it antisocial, whatever, but I think I made the right choice. Because while everyone else was blacking out at frat parties, I was forming deep, lasting bonds with my couch." For Emily, social gatherings were a genuine battlefield, only instead of dodging bullets, it was small talk. So does that make her a cold and ungrateful social outcast because she hates massive parties? Absolutely not, she responds. But I have never been able to feign interest in something I find boring. For instance, people standing around in a crowd, socializing a topic I couldn't care less about, makes me just want to get up and walk away. It's relatively negative to accordingly classify a person just because they are not the life of the group. So even if you have never been called a party pooper to your face, how do you contend with the knowledge that others know you are not enthused by large groups? I'm not going to pretend I love being packed into a room full of people who ask questions like "what do you do for fun?" Emily confidently says. Because as an introvert, I know I'm just not gonna enjoy myself. What else can capture the quiet rebellion of a soul that has long withstood the weight of conformity, enduring silently, stoically, and with indifference, only now to find itself confronted by the sudden and absurd pressure to belong? Is it any wonder that in such moments, strange behaviors arise, irrational, whimsical, the kind that craves escape yet clings desperately to isolation? This entire experience is but the somber celebration of an individual once thought defeated by the masses, now resigned to exist apart, yet inwardly triumphant in solitude. It is the revelry of strength regained, the embrace of one's own shadow as an unyielding companion. There is a curious affection toward the noise and laughter that one resists, an acknowledgement of its appeal even as one rejects it. The push and pull of crowds, the friction between belonging and retreat, creates a strange harmony in those who refuse to feign interest. The dance between solitude and society becomes a cycle, eternally repeating itself. The individual ventures out only to return to the sanctuary of their own thoughts, wiser, stronger, and more certain of the futility of it all. What is this but a celebration of the self's refusal to yield? The quiet exultation of one who has discovered that, though the world may label them as the outcast, there is a strange freedom in walking alone. The crowd may beckon, but the introvert, having known the strength of their own company, can only smile, knowing that within this endless cycle, they remain forever untouched by the demands of the many. In a society that often equates sociability with success, Emerson's philosophy becomes a quiet but resolved act of defiance. The transcendentalist says, to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. He speaks to those who would rather engage with the depth of their own thoughts. Socializing then becomes a performance, a replication of false energy. His concepts of self-reliance argues to trust the uniqueness of your own path, even when it diverges from the well-worn roads of societal norms. When society tells the introvert that they must socialize to be happy, Emerson's voice cuts through with clarity. Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. The introvert's refusal to follow the crowd does not signify failure. It represents courage. It is the courage to stand alone, To trust that in their quiet reflection lies the seed of creativity, of thought, of connection on a deeper level. The individual demonstrates that stillness can be equally powerful. Emerson writes, "The only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be." Thus, socializing, as crucial as it is, becomes not an exercise in conformity, but in self-respect. Although I do understand that you just want to crawl under a rock until humanity goes extinct. Embrace who you are by following the wisdom of your inner voice, by practicing the highest form of self-reliance, one that is not swayed by the demands of others, but grounded firmly in the truth of your own experience.